Welcome to part 2 of Subject of the Formula for IGCSE Algebra. In this tutorial, the presenter will look at the remaining techniques for Subject of the Formula. As usual, the problems in the tutorial are based on questions from 20 past exams.
Before we look at these questions, you need to know the following. The square root of x times the square root of x is equal to x. And that means that the square root of x squared is also equal to x. Because you know the square root of x squared is the same as the square root of x times the square root of x. And hence this will also give us x. So in 1.1, we need to make x the subject of the formula. So that means that we want to get rid of the square root on the left-hand side. And the way we can do that is by simply squaring both sides. So when we square the left-hand side, the square root will fall away, and we end up with x equals a squared. So here, we need to make p the subject. We first want to get rid of the square root, so we simply square both sides. And then the square root will fall away on the left-hand side. So we're going to end up with p minus 2 equals q squared. Now we need to get rid of the negative 2 on the left-hand side, and we simply take it to the right-hand side, and the sign changes. So we add it to the right-hand side. We want to make m the subject here. Now we want to get rid of the 3 on the left-hand side first. So we are multiplying by 3 on the left-hand side. That means we can divide it into the right-hand side. So we divide by 3 on the right-hand side. Now we want to get rid of the square root on the left-hand side, and we simply square both sides. So the square root of m all squared will be m. So the square root drops when we square it. And then we simplify the right-hand side, we'll get n squared over 3 squared, of course, is 9. Here, we want to make y the subject. So we can first get rid of the a here on the left-hand side. And since we are dividing by a on the left-hand side, we multiply by it on the right-hand side. Now we can get rid of the square root, and we can do so by squaring both sides. So then what we'll have left on the left-hand side will just be y. So when we square the square root, it falls away. And we can simplify the right-hand side. We'll get a squared times b squared. Here, we want to make p the subject. Now, since we have fractions on both sides, we can get rid of the fractions by cross-multiplying. And since we want p to be on the left-hand side, we're first going to cross-multiply like this. So 2 times the square root of p. So 2 times the square root of p will give us twice the square root of p. Then s times a is as. Now we can get rid of the 2 on the left-hand side. And since we are multiplying by 2 on the left-hand side, we can divide by it on the right-hand side. Then finally, we want to get rid of the square root on the left-hand side, and we simply square both sides. And when we square the left-hand side, the square root falls away. So p equals, and in simplifying the right-hand side, we'll get a squared, s squared, over, and 2 squared, of course, is 4. Now, note that there's more than one way of solving this problem. So if you used a different way, but you got the same answer, then that's also fine. We need to make x the subject here. Now, x is on the right-hand side, So we can first flip the equation to get x on the left-hand side. Now we can get rid of the square root by squaring both sides. Then on the left-hand side, the square root drops, so it falls away. Now we can get rid of the 1 on the left-hand side, and since we are adding 1 on the left-hand side, we do the opposite and subtract it from the right-hand side. Then finally, we want to get rid of the square on the left-hand side, and we can do so by taking the square root on the right-hand side. And then, of course, plus or minus. So in question 2, we are given this equation, and in 2.1 it says, find y when p is negative 5, q is 3, and r is negative 7. So we simply substitute in these values for p, q, and r into the equation. So y will equal p squared, which is negative 5 squared, plus q times r, which is negative 7. Now, a negative squared is a positive, and 5 squared is 25. Here, a positive times a negative is a negative, and 3 times 7 is 21. So y will equal 4. Then in 2.2, we need to make p the subject. So p. Now, p is on the right-hand side here, so we can first flip the equation. So we get p squared plus qr equals y. We want p to be alone on the left-hand side. So since we are adding qr on the left-hand side, we can subtract it on the right-hand side. So y minus qr. Now we want to get rid of the square here, and we can do so by simply taking the square root on the right-hand side. And then, of course, plus or minus. So in 3.1, we need to make a the subject of the formula. What's important to note here is that a appears in 2 terms on the left-hand side. So how do we deal with this? We simply take it out as a common factor on the left-hand side. And here we're going to be left with b, then the minus, and here we're going to have c left. We want a to be alone on the left-hand side, so we want to get rid of these brackets here. And brackets mean multiplication. So on the left-hand side, we are multiplying by b minus c. So to get rid of it, we do the opposite on the right-hand side and divide by b minus c. Then in 3.2, we need to make r the subject of the formula. Now, r is on the right-hand side of the equation, so we can get it onto the left-hand side by flipping the equation. Note that r appears in 2 terms on the left-hand side, so we can take it out as a common factor. So we're left with 2 here, then the plus, and pi here. Then brackets mean multiplication, so we are multiplying by 2 plus pi on the left-hand side. So to get rid of the 2 plus pi on the left-hand side, we can do the opposite and divide by it on the right-hand side. So here we have to make x the subject of the formula. Now we have a fraction on the right-hand side, so we can first get rid of the fraction. And we can do so by multiplying the left-hand side by z. In other words, we are dividing by z on the right-hand side. So to get rid of it, we multiply by z on the left-hand side. So the fraction disappears, Now, as we said, we want to make x a subject. Now, x appears in two terms in this equation. So we need to bring all the terms in x to the left-hand side. So xz, and we're adding x to the right-hand side, so we're going to subtract it from the left-hand side. Now, x is a common factor here. We need to make x a subject. So we can take it out as such, and we're going to be left with z minus and x into x once. So z minus 1 in brackets. We know brackets mean multiplication. So we are multiplying by z minus 1 on the left. To get rid of it, we simply divide by it on the right-hand side. So here, we want to make m the subject. And we can get rid of the fraction first. We are dividing by m on the right-hand side. So we simply multiply by it on the left-hand side. Now we bring all the terms containing m to the left-hand side. So once again, m appears in two terms here in this equation. So we're going to bring this m to the left-hand side. It's going to become negative m. Now we take out a common factor of m. And since we are multiplying by p minus 1 on the left-hand side, we simply divide by it on the right-hand side. We want to make y the subject here, and we can first get rid of the fraction on the left-hand side. Since we are dividing by y on the left-hand side, we simply multiply by it on the right-hand side. Now, since we want y to be the subject, we're going to bring all the terms containing y to the left-hand side. The negative x we can take to the right-hand side, and it becomes positive x. Now we can take out a common factor here on the left-hand side. So y is the common factor. Y into y once, then the minus. And when we divide y into zy, only z remains. Brackets mean multiplication, so we can divide the 1 minus z into the right-hand side.